Hello guys, it's me, Technology Freak 1000. I'm going to be talking about some laptops. Now, I do have a couple of them, but I'm not gonna. I showed off one, which is what this camera is leaning against. And I do have another one which has that Windows XP virtual machine. But what would be good is if I had one that was actually cheap with a lightweight operating system that still has the functions of a smartphone in some fashion. Like the App Store. The only operating system I know. Oh, the only uh, laptop that I know that has that is a Chromebook. And they can be anywhere from over $150 to about $1,000. $150 to $1,000 or more. Now, technically, nothing changes when you get a Chromebook of up to $1,000. The only thing that does change is on the inside and like physically. The only thing that changes is the hard drive or like the SSD or whatever, how much storage and how much RAM. I'm thinking of like maybe 4 gigabytes at the minimum, 32 gigabytes. 4 gigabytes of RAM, 32 gigabytes, that should be enough. The reason I say that is because if it's mainly for Android apps, yeah, sure, why not? And plus, my Android tablet is a piece of junk because I believe it's kind of slow, and I think it has been. Because Android sometimes is, hint hint, sometimes Android can be a pain in the butt. But sometimes people can like the more open space of Android. Now in Chrome OS, you can't really do anything about like changing every single thing like on Android. But Chrome OS is like a mix between Android and Linux. So basically, before Chrome OS had the app support for like Android apps, of course, it was a very, very watered down version of Linux. From what I heard. Do Chromebooks have oh sorry, a voice crack. Do Chromebooks have a optical drive? I don't know, and I don't think so. Since they're supposed to be light and you can barely do anything on them, I doubt it. I mean, you can do stuff on the web, but would it be easier to just get a cheap Windows computer or used Windows computer? Well, that might be fine, but what if Windows is too much for you? What if you wanted a scaled down operating system that is simple enough to learn, yet you gotta have a learning curve. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm gonna have to do. If I get a Chromebook, that is. Hopefully I do. And if I do, I'll review it. Like I did the other thing. Oh, by the way, my bad. It's a Bop It. And don't worry, I did a review of a Bop It, the Bop It 2000, which that's gone. I was trying to show something. That BB-8 was not supposed to be there, but whatever. And yes, I do a few Bop Its. Yeah, the caps lock, the caps lock key on a Windows computer is the search key on a Chromebook. You might be wondering, what is search? Well, I don't know that much about Chromebooks, but I believe it's for you to search something, because that's usually what it's called. Is everything online when it comes to a Chromebook? I don't know. Probably, since it's all cloud-based. And yeah, there is some storage. Now, don't get me wrong. Back in the day, 16 gigabytes would have been good enough. But that's only because they had 16 gigabytes of worth of storage. A majority of the Chromebooks today have app support. Yeah, majority of the Chromebooks today have app support. And yeah, like I said, they're like from $150 to about $1,000 or more. Like I said, the only thing that changes when it comes to like a real expensive Chromebook, like $1,000 or something. That would be the hardware or the stuff that it's made of. Like, for example, it'll be probably a little bit stronger material. It might have a few different ports. It might have a real good keyboard and a glass trackpad. And yeah, I would definitely enjoy that if I had to. And I will. And I might even start recording videos with a Chromebook, who knows? And if it doesn't have YouTube installed, I can just get it from the Play Store if it's supported. Pretty much every computer has its version of the App Store. Windows has the Microsoft Store. Apple has the App Store. And the Chromebooks have Google Play Store. Now, I don't know about... Linux is its own operating system. I don't think there are Linux-based computers. But for some odd reason, you can run Linux on a Chromebook. And in the future, there could be a way you can run Windows apps in the future. Now, I'm not sure if you would be able to run the whole Windows operating system, though. There could be there are stripped down versions of Windows 10. There are very cheap Raspberry Pi computers that run a very, very simplistic version of Windows 10. Like, you won't believe me, but some that are like 10 to 30 bucks, brand new. They're like little tiny computers that either run Linux or a very stripped down version of Windows 10. You might be wondering where I got some of this information from, and I'll tell you. I don't know if he'll look at my channel or not, but shout out goes to Austin Evans. I just watched a few of his videos, and even though some of these videos may have been from the past, it's good to know that this information could still be relevant. And how often would you use a Windows computer with only 32 gigabytes? You run out of storage for sure if you're a heavy computer user like me. Because I like to run apps that are large, apparently. Even though I try to keep it down, I like using Windows virtual machines. And they bog up the system. They clog up the system, I mean. They clog up the system real bad. And depending on how much RAM you have, it depends on if you can have a smooth ride throughout the operating system. I mean, it depends on how smooth your ride is going to be. So if you can have a smooth ride when you're navigating through Windows or whatever. The thing about Chrome is that you can have a whole bunch of tabs open, and originally what Chrome OS used to be was basically the Chrome browser itself with a few extra add-ons, like the settings, the login info. It does have a menu, but all the apps like YouTube, Hangouts, even Hangouts existed back in 2014. Nice. Like any apps like Hangouts, YouTube, they'll all lead you to the website. And they're called web apps. They're apps, but they're on the web. They're online. But most apps are online anyway. So really, there's no point. I mean, seriously, there's some apps you can use offline, but in fact, there are some apps you can use some of the app offline, and the majority of the app online. And not only that, what kind of computer would you need 32 gigabytes for? I mean, okay, let me question this. Let me ask it in a different way. What computer would be decent for getting a 32 gigabytes model? Well, I can't believe they still have 32 gigabyte models. Um, a Chromebook, probably, because of the fact that why not? Because a Chromebook is the best way to go. And it usually doesn't require much storage anyway. But um, like tablets, phones, and like other mobile devices, sure, as long as you try and keep the storage. I mean, it depends on what everyone wants. My apologies. But yeah, it depends on it depends on what your preference is and if you can keep it the storage under a certain limit. Like what you have on your files. You would never see a Mac with 32 gigabytes, would you? I mean, maybe in the early days, but I take it back. Like in the early 2000s, the i the iBook G4 had 29 gigabytes, and I'm not kidding. It did. I mean, back in the early 2000s, maybe, but nowadays, it's common to see computers. I mean, it's never common to see 32 gigabyte versions of Windows computers, like computers that run Windows with 32 gigabytes. I mean, gigabytes. I mean, it's not that common unless they are very cheap, and I believe they are. There's even a Windows computer for 120 bucks, and I those usually come at a price. One, maybe a very slow processor. Two, a very limited amount of RAM. And three, not very much you can only do light stuff. Like maybe run the heavy stuff you do online, if you can. Like, well, you know all those, like Discord or RS Games or anything like that. That is if you're blind, of course. Like maybe if you started maybe any heavy games you play, is there like a website version? If so, then play it. Like anything that takes up a lot of space, basically. I think it was popular back in the early 2000s where computers had, I mean, some computers, even in 2005, had even up to 128 gigabytes. So, yeah, it really wasn't that bad. But I guess back in the day, computers back in from 1999 up until 2005 ran either Windows 98, Windows 2000, Windows Millennium Edition, or Windows XP, which is my favorite operating system, obviously. Now, Windows XP is not really supported, but I'm using a lot of heavy stuff on there, and I mean like RS games. I can't use Discord because yeah, I am literally out of luck because Discord doesn't work on Windows XP. I mean, maybe the website version, maybe, but that's it. Not the full-on version. Um, but yeah, computers even. I'm beginning to wonder when they said something about the. I'm beginning to wonder when they started having 512 gigabytes worth of storage. Gigabytes, not gigabytes. Gigabytes, man. GB stands for gigabytes. Not very many computers nowadays have optical drives. Pretty much every computer nowadays has no CD-ROM drive. Even in the 1990s, tablets were smaller, lighter, locked down computers. In fact, there's a smartphone for the elderly I don't know. But it is like a smartphone, and it's a very locked down operating system with the settings can be controlled on a portal, but that's about it. But yeah, I'm not going to talk about that. There's some operating systems that are. If Apple made a simplified, like an even more simplified operating system than iOS, and yeah, go ahead. But iOS is as simplified as it gets. It's not very open source. It's locked down somewhat. It's 80% locked down. Because, you can get a little bit of third-party access with, like, web browsers and the email client, but that's about it. Android, however, is the exact opposite. It's 20% locked down and 80% accessible. Windows, you get viruses. Mac, you get viruses. Chrome OS, you can get viruses, But, how much, you may ask? Oh, I think you guys saw that. Ouch. Probably not that much. So the Chrome browsers existed probably up until 2008 or more. I wouldn't worry about it. I mean, the Chrome browsers basically, they had their own store, but now they got the official Google Play Store. They do have Skype on the Google Play Store, so if you have Skype, you can get Skype. They have YouTube, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter, Discord. They have a few different apps. They even have some games for the blind and visually impaired, like Fear and other games. Yeah, what am I doing sitting here? I don't know what the point of this video was. See you guys later.